34.637, slowing down there for William. Stephen Tiska, a 34.146. Stephen will pick up about 0.2 of a second on that run. Stephanie Reeve now wheeling that black Z06 toward the finish. That last finish turn is so tough. You see a lot of drivers having to park it there a little bit at the finish. I'm definitely not referring to myself. Stephanie Reeve, a 34.144. She slows down by 1/10.5. Eric Simmons on the left at 33.230 in S3. He'll pick up 0.06 of a second. We got Sean Hammond and Rick Myers in now. Sean on the right at 35.038. Picking up half a second there for Sean. Rick Myers on the left at 3.2. Snyder, John Fink, your unofficial trophy holders for Saturday afternoon for CAM. Joseph Crayley in that class, just outside the trophies, knocking on the door. In A Street, we have two drivers left, Bob Davis and Nick Lindsay. I don't want to rule those guys out, so we'll hold off on that for a little bit. Jesse Hesketh in now in B Street on the right at 34.371 on a 662 light. Michael Lanier on the left at 35.770. Michael picks up 2 seconds on that run. Huge pickup there for him. Eric Simmons and Stephanie Reeve on course now again for S3. Simmons' car, very recognizable with those beautiful orange wheels. I definitely have like orange wheel envy. I support orange color choices in general, but those wheels are something else. Eric's got a 33.533 on a 508 light. Slows down though. Stephanie Reeve, a 33.904, also slower. Rick Myers and Sean Hellman going to be in next in S3. Bernie Kafferline and Abdul Huda to be next. Rick already carrying a cone on this run. Workers running on the right-hand side. Rick's got a 35.087 plus 1. And Sean Hellman on the left at 35.427. Sean picks up about a quarter second. On that 425 red light, would have been a half a second pickup. Brian Anthony on the left at 34.711. His fastest left by 1/10 of a second. Will he be in the level? Michael Lanier, Jesse Hesketh, Stephanie Reed, and Eric Simmons. B Street followed by S3. Michael Lanier is out there in that red Focus. I don't know what the story with that car is, but it looks fun to drive. Lanier's in with a 36.358. He'll slow down by 7/10, most of which was at the lights, I think. Jesse Hesketh on the left at 35.405 in that blue M3. Also a 1.1 light for Jesse there. So he picks up 0.127 seconds anyway. That'll leave Jesse in 10th position in class. Stephanie Reeve on the right at 34.618 there in S3. Slows down by 6/10. Eric Simmons on the left at 33.740. He slows down by half a second. So drivers having trouble squeezing the last little bit out of these cars on this course this afternoon. Sean Holland, Rick Myers on course now. Abdul Huda already away with the 440 red light here for his run. Right, let's see. Sean Hallam in with a 35.127 plus 1 on Sean. Would have slowed down anyway. Rick Myers on the left at 35.302. Rick slows down by 9/10 of a second. No help there. Mark's going to be in with a 34.136, slows down by about 9/10. David Spratty. A 33.379 picks up 144 for David. Continues to chip away at Kevin Romanesco's lead. Now has a 2.2 margin on third place there for David Coletti. Corey Carter, Alex Maramo next. Corey is back first with a 33.790, slowing down by about a tenth of a second. Alex Maramo on the left at 34.137, also a bit slower. These drivers all have one run remaining, it looks like to me. Sang Yi, Nick Isaac going to be next in B Street, followed by Brian Anthony and Taylor Coletti. Sang Yi, another black Supra on the right at 34.100. Sang will pick up 0.128 seconds and remain in 8th. Nick Isaac on the left at 33.706. Nick picks up 0.3 of a second. He is in 5th position, just 0.112 out of the trophies. 12 drivers in this class, 4 trophies. Currently, Kevin Romanesco, David Spratty, David Coletti, and Mark Valera for those trophy positions. Taylor Coletti now on the left at 33.897. He picks up 0.4 of a second. That leaves him in 9th position. Brian Anthony on the right at 35.110. I'm going to ask once again, if you are working Heat D, it is time for you to shag your butt and think about getting out on course, I think. We are late in Heat C here. Also, if your cars are not in grid yet for Heat D, that would be a good place for them to be very soon. All right, we've got Jesse Hesketh on the right at 34.756. He slows down. Michael Lanier on the left at 35.778, also slower. No help for these mid-B Street drivers. Eric Simmons, Sean Hallam on course there for S3. Sean's working a 479 red light, so this is not going to help him with a 34.921. Would have been a half a second pickup for Sean, but a 479 red light. Eric Simmons on the right at 33.627. He slows down by a quarter second. Coletti on the left at 33.262 there in B Street, slows down by 29 thousandths of a